Right, comrades, I'm going to begin with a guy called Yip Harburg, if you never, and he wrote Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. What a lot of people don't know is he also wrote Buddy Can You Spare a Dime, which is one of the great anthems of the Depression. Now the reason I'm going to start with that is I'm going to quote another guy. Margaret Thatcher's biographer, Charles Moore, led the tributes to the old lady this week, and he pointed out that she created industrial peace. Tell you what she didn't. She created industrial defeat. She beat our side. Strike figures, our right to resist, came down from something like 20 million down to about 2 million. That wasn't negotiation. That's not because there were votes, industrial democracy, a buy into the system. It's because they defeated us. They defeated us with their police. They defeated us with their scabs. They defeated us. Now the lesson that's got to be from that is when we take a look at the record of Thatcher, and they dare to say, why are we angry? Why do we dance on a grave? No stepping back, colleagues. We are not going to say statesman-like statements like Willoughby. Good riddance to her. Good riddance to her class one day. But she's gone. Her whole bloody system is still there. The system that under Thatcher gave us record unemployment, manufacturing halved, hospitals and schools closed or left to rot, deregulation of the city that led to the problems we've just had, the poll tax, VAT up from 8 to 17%, social housing virtually destroyed, the cover-ups of Orgreave and Hillsborough. And it was our sons and our daughters that died at Hillsborough, our sons that got battered at Orgreave. We will not forget. We will never forget. Out-of-work benefits. They talk now about getting people to work. She raised the number of people on out-of-work benefits from 2 to 6 million. She created the dependence on invalidity. She created the system that these bloody Tories dare to now decry. Now that's the legacy. Why do I start with that? Because this lot are even worse. Why are they worse? They're not worse because Cameron, this bland, suppurating idiot, this public school boy without morals or backbone, it's not because he is in any way a nastier person than Thatcher. The times are worse. Their system is creakier. And that's why they are nastier and more vicious. The privatisation of the NHS, the dismantling of large parts of the welfare state, fragmentation of education, a measure as iniquitous as the poll tax in the form of the bedroom tax, part-time and self-employed working replacing full-time work. All of this is happening. And at the same time, they dare to say we're all in it together when ordinary working class pay has gone up 1.1% to £26,000. Do you know what executive pay is done? Up 16% to £300,000. And their panacea of austerity has failed. The AAA rating has collapsed, gone, defunct, busted. The fall in manufacturing is catastrophic. The march of the makers is going backwards. 1 in 5, only 1 in 5 of the British people think the cuts are working. When Cameron says it's all sorted, the OBR chief Choate says, sorry son, you're not on. The debt is rising. They dare to say the deficit is being cut because they fiddle one section of the figures. The debt is rocketing. And we all know what's the importance of debt. When we had the biggest debt in post-war history, we built the council's houses, we built the NHS, we created a welfare state that protected the poor and gave them a haven. And there is no reason why that can't be done again. The last thing that makes me laugh is when this triple dipstick, Osborne, says there's no magic money tree. What do they call £375 billion in quantitative easing? They throw the money at their people and there's nothing for our children. Now the point is not to analyse all this bloody shambles, but to build an alternative to it. And we've got to admit it, we start from a low base. We are never going to build the future by lying about the present. Whereas it's 16-17% of people in private industry are in trade unions. But I tell you what, that was the same base when there were the great struggles of the 1930s in the United States that transformed the trade union movement. We have to recognise our weaknesses, but we don't get blinded by them like rabbits in front of the headlights of a lorry. We have to fight back, and the biggest thing stopping us is actually the Labour councils. Joe Anderson invites me in to examine Liverpool's books to prove to me we can't possibly save the libraries. Honest to God, Joe, I don't bloody care. That is not my system. I'm not an accountant. I know that the money's there. Trillions of pounds in the Cayman Islands. I know the money's there in the pockets of the big businesses. The money is there. The people are there. There are bricks stacked up in places. Unemployed homeless people and building workers on the dole. Any rational system would stick them together and build 500,000 houses. Overnight, we can revolutionise the system. There's a lack of confidence, but I tell you what, there's a deep and underlying anger wherever I go. Our job is actually to break through that glass ceiling so that the anger starts to build to confidence. It goes in two levels. We have to fight and support every single small struggle that occurs, and we have to link it to calls from above for more generalised action. The two things feed into each other, and we'll never know when that chemical moment comes of growing confidence, so we fight back. But fight back we've got to, because if we don't, the vacuum will be filled by people like UKIP, who want to say, blame your neighbour, blame the disabled person, blame the Muslim, blame the immigrant. We will not blame anybody except the people who are really to blame. Their class, their people, not our people. And I'm going to finish. Liverpool, you probably know, we're all very quiet people. I'm an honorary scouser, you can probably tell by the accent. I was born 15 miles away in Warrington, right? But I fell in love with a scouser. I've been there ever since. When I walk along the Mersey, the hair stands on the back of my neck. And do you know why? Because Liverpool, like Manchester, like Yorkshire, the last people to leave the battlefield, the first to march back on it when new struggles begin. And so I wrote this poem in the Liverpool Poets' response to Thatcher's death. And it's called No Such Thing as Society. There is no such thing as society, you said, and lo, there were no mines. You looked upon the shattered landscape and twisting skeletons of rusting metal, and it was good. There is no such thing as society, you said, and lo, there were no jobs. You looked at the young people sheltering in doorways, drinking to a future that seemed further away with every passing day, and it was good. There is no such thing as society, you said, and lo, there was no rented housing. You looked at the sink estates, the burned out cars, the broken fences. You looked at the homeless on the street, and it was good. There is no such thing as society, you said, and lo, there was great rejoicing in the city, and the steel and glass temples rose into the sky, and it was good. There is no such thing as society, you said, and lo, the rich grew richer and the red turned to blue, and you gave birth to a son called Blair. At last, after all these years, thanks to you and those who followed you, there really is no such thing as society, and it is not good. And if you want society to come back, if you want the values of human liberation and solidarity, brotherhood and sisterhood to dominate the new world that replaces what they have ruined, then we have to make sure that we fight. We fight, we solidarise, nobody walks alone. Thank you.